Distinguished viewers, the official national opening ceremony marking Holocaust Martyrs and Heroes Remembrance Day is being broadcast from Warsaw Ghetto Square at Yad Vashem without an audience present. To mark the opening of the National Holocaust Martyrs and Heroes Remembrance Day, the national flag will be lowered to half-mast.
המשמר יחטיף את נשקו. החטף, שק. המשמר ידגל את נשקו. דגל, שק. המשמר יחטיף את נשקו. החטף, שק. המשמר יציג את נשקו. הצג, שק. המשמר יעבור לנוח, עמוד, נוח.
For the lighting of the Remembrance Torch, I am honored to invite the chairman of the Yad Vashem Council, Rabbi Israel Meir Lau.
המשמר יעבור לדום. משמר, דום. המשמר יעבור לנוח, עמוד, נוח.
As we open this ceremony, we would like to say a prayer for the safety of our soldiers fighting on the borders of our land and for the quick and full recovery of those who have been wounded in battle. We embrace the bereaved families who have lost their loved ones. The central theme for Holocaust Martyrs and Heroes Remembrance Day 2026 is the Jewish family during the Holocaust. On the eve of the Holocaust, the Jewish family was a framework that provided a strong sense of stability, identity, and belonging. However, under the Nazi regime, in one fell swoop, hundreds of thousands of Jewish families were no longer able to function as they had in the past. The violence, deportations, and hunger quickly caused the collapse of the traditional family unit, leading to unavoidable role reversal under which children often participated in the daily struggle to survive. Nevertheless, it was in such times of persecution and devastation that the family became a vital source of support, unity, and hope. Even in the ghettos, the camps, and in hiding and under the harshest conditions, Jews sought human connection that would help them endure, if only for one more day. After the war, Holocaust survivors searched desperately for their family members who had managed to survive and also started families of their own as a symbol of their return to life. Despite the fatal blow dealt to the Jewish family unit during the Holocaust, the renewal of family ties was a pivotal factor in the rehabilitation of the survivors and the rebirth of the Jewish people as a whole. President of the State of Israel, Mr. Isaac Herzog. My sisters and brothers, citizens of Israel, this year, the national days return during a time of war. I wish to open these sacred days with words of strength and encouragement to you, those on the front lines and those on the home front that has become a front line. To each and every one of you I say, this is a prolonged campaign, but I am confident that we will emerge from it strengthened and empowered. There are moments within this war in which the story of one family sheds light on and tells the story of an entire nation. A year ago, on Holocaust Martyrs and Heroes Remembrance Day, Master Sergeant Asaf Kafri, a reservist soldier in the IDF Armored Corps, fell in battle in the Gaza Strip. He was 26 years old when he fell. When Michal and I arrived to console the Kafri family at their home at Bet Hashmonai and met Asaf's dear parents, Ifat and Haggai, his brothers, and his partner, I could not help but notice a woman sitting to the side, quiet and withdrawn. Her eyes were sorrowful, as though carrying a pain both old and new. I approached her and asked who she was. I am Magda, Asaf's great-grandmother. Magda Baratz was only 15 years old when she was imprisoned with her family in a ghetto in Transylvania. From there, her family was sent to Auschwitz, the factory of death. We looked at each other and knew we will never see each other again, Magda wrote in her memoirs. Indeed, that was the last time she saw her parents and her younger brother, who were murdered immediately upon their arrival at the camp. Magda and her sister were left alone in the world. Magda, a young girl, endured all the horrors of the Nazi extermination machine. She was subjected to forced labor. She marched on the death march. She suffered starvation and bitter cold. Time and again, she miraculously escaped death. In the spring of 1945, when she was liberated from the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, she was 16 years old and weighed only 20 kilos, a human skeleton, a Muslim, but with an indomitable spirit. At the detention camp in Cyprus, on her journey to Israel, she met her husband, Ze'ev, of blessed memory, also a Holocaust survivor, and together they made Aliyah. Just 3 years after she exited the gates of hell, 3 years after she survived the most harrowing and darkest hour in the history of our people, 3 years after nearly her entire family was murdered in the Holocaust, from the ruins and destruction, Magda brought new life into the world. Her firstborn daughter, Racheli, who would become Asaf's grandmother, was born in the midst of the War of Independence. This is my triumph, to survive, to make Aliyah, and to establish a dynasty, Magda used to say. Indeed, she established a magnificent dynasty. Children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, generation after generation of revival, of love of mankind, the Jewish people, and the land of Israel. 6 years ago, ahead of Holocaust Remembrance Day, a photograph of Magda and her great-grandson Hassan was featured on a billboard. Look at this photograph. At this story it tells how much love, how much pride, how much power and strength it holds. On the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Bergen-Belsen camp, Magda was invited to a ceremony held there as a guest of honor, together with her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. There, on the soil of the concentration camp, she received the devastating news. Asaf, her eldest, beloved great-grandchild, so dear to her soul, a fourth-generation Holocaust survivor, had fallen in battle while defending our home, our homeland, the State of Israel. Precisely 70 years separated Magda and Asaf, the great-grandmother and her great-grandson. But one spirit bound these generations, a spirit of heroism, of devotion, of determination, a spirit of fighting for our people's one and only home, the State of Israel, a home that Magda's generation partook in establishing, and her grandchildren's and great-grandchildren's generation is fighting to defend it to this very day, a home for which Asaf gave his life. When we sat with Magda during the Shiva for Asaf, she told us about her great-grandson who was a hero, about Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen, and about the long journey she had taken, a personal and national one, the journey of the survivors, the Holocaust survivors, from Holocaust to revival, from destruction to statehood. I looked at her and her family, 4 generations in one home, and thought to myself, God in heaven, is there another people that can bear such a story of pain and heroism? 2 weeks later, Magda Baratz passed away. The heart of the woman who had conquered everything, who had survived the concentration and extermination camps, who had withstood starvation, torture, and cold, who knew how to cling to life in the most difficult moments, who returned from destruction to life, and who built a life, could not endure the pain of the loss of Asaf, her eldest great-grandson. Survivors of the Holocaust, heroes of the revival, my sisters and brothers, citizens of Israel, distinguished guests. Approximately 6 million Jews, a third of the global Jewish population before the Second World War, were murdered in the Holocaust at the hands of the Nazis and their collaborators. 1 in 3 Jews are brothers and sisters. From Poland to the Netherlands, from Germany to Libya, from Greece to France, Jews were persecuted, slaughtered, tortured, and murdered with cruelty. Everywhere, all Jews were victims. The Nazis and their collaborators made no distinction. They did not distinguish between ways of life, worldviews, or different positions within our people. To them, we were one people, and upon all of us, one sentence was decreed: annihilation, destruction, obliteration. Some nations arise from a land. Some peoples are built from a language. For us, the Jewish people, there is both land and language. But at the very beginning of our existence stands the family. We carry a bond that cannot be severed and share an affinity that never expires. From the days of our ancestors who walked here in the land of Israel, through all the communities and congregations in the diaspora, and to this very day, we are a large and expansive family bound by history, by deep roots, by a shared destiny, uniqueness, and purpose. A family whose strength you, dear light torchers, reflect, as well as its eternity and continuity. Our people who endured the Holocaust, the darkest and most abhorrent chapter in human history, chose not merely to survive, but to grow, to create, to rebuild, and to build here, in this place, a national home based on hope, faith, and mutual responsibility, a home that is a miracle, a wonder of wonders, a home built with toil and tears, acquired at an unbearable price, a home that rests even today on that same spirit of family and on the simple understanding held by all who live here, from all ethnic groups, faiths, and worldviews, that we have no other home, that we are here to stay forever. There are those who seek to destroy this home that we built. Even today, for 2.5 years, the State of Israel has been at war. Since that frightful day, the October 7th massacre, in every place and every site I visit, I see Israeli society in the spirit that animates it across the length and breadth of the land, in bomb shelters, in sites destroyed by missile attacks, in hospitals hospitals and command centers and volunteer hubs. I see the solidarity, the heroism, the devotion, and the mutual responsibility. This is the spirit that emerges within us when we fight together for our only national home, for our beloved country. It is the spirit of a people that chooses life and rises, roars, and prevails like a lion. At the same time, throughout the country, in its difficult hour, I also hear a deep demand, repeated time and again, that we remember that we are all partners in this home, that we belong to one another, that we are family. History teaches us time and again the heavy price of internal strife and division. And on the other hand, the power of mutual responsibility and brotherhood. It is this memory, this comprehension of everything our people have been through, that must prompt us to say to ourselves, a family may argue, but it must never tear itself apart. We must say to ourselves, especially today, that we did not rise from the ashes of the crematoria only to be consumed by the fire of discord. Citizens of Israel, we're living through historic days. In recent weeks, the State of Israel has vigorously fought the Iranian regime in extraordinary cooperation with the United States military and other militaries in the region. And even now, our soldiers are deployed in Lebanon, in Gaza, in Judea and Samaria, and in additional arenas near and far. Regrettably, this campaign carries heavy costs, including in recent days. Our enemies spare no means to kill us and murder our innocent civilians, including by launching heavy missiles and missiles equipped with cluster munitions at population centers. In this sacred moment, I wish to address you, all who have lost their loved ones, and all who have been harmed and wounded in body or soul. I see you. I share your pain. I wish to comfort and strengthen you. The entire nation stands by your side with an embrace, with tears, and with support. I extend my gratitude from here to all first responders, rescue forces, and support agencies who are doing extraordinary work in the sacred mission of saving lives. Our eyes look toward the heavens and pray for the safety and success of the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces and all the security forces wherever they may be, those who stand guard over our land and holy cities. Let us not forget, 81 years after the Holocaust, the striped prisoner's uniform has been replaced by the IDF uniform, worn by the grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren of you, the Holocaust survivors. For them, it is a tremendous privilege to continue your path and together with our fellow soldiers to ensure the security of Israel. Right now, we are witnessing a rising wave of anti-Semitism that threatens Jews all around the world. As President of the State of Israel, I wish to remind us, Israel and the diaspora are one family with one shared destiny. And when a Jew, any Jew, is harmed anywhere on the face of the earth, our collective heart skips a beat. I call upon all world leaders. Empty words will not cover up in action. This is the time for courageous action. You must fight anti-Semitism with all means and in every place before it is too late. My sisters and brothers, I meet Holocaust survivors throughout the year. In moving conversations with them and with their families and descendants, I always say to them, you are a source of inspiration for the people of Israel and for the entire world, a symbol of the human spirit in all its glory, of its resilience, its strength, and its ability to overcome even the greatest darkness. Survivors of the Holocaust, you rose from dust and ashes. Time and again you chose life, creation, optimism, and love. From you, we draw strength and hope. There will come a time, as is the way of the world, when not a single living person who survived the Holocaust will remain on the face of the earth. One thing must be clear. We will remember forever, and we will pass on the memory of the Holocaust forever. On behalf of the State of Israel, I vow that we will continue to remember and to remind, to tell your story. We will be faithful to the mandate you have bequeathed to us, the mandate to continue to act for the eternity of Israel. Last year, shortly before we parted with the Kafri family, Magda Baratz asked to share a final message with us. From the depth of her sorrow, in moments of unbearable grief, Magda, the Holocaust survivor and bereaved great-grandmother, chose a message of hope. I continue to believe that it will be good here. I may no longer be here, but it will be good here. I believe this with all my heart. Magda told us this hope, this faith that Magda left us is not hers alone. It is the hope that you have bequeathed to us. And this hope, this knowledge, so Jewish, so Israeli, we carry with us. This past Tu B'Shvat, I had the privilege of planting a tree with another of Magda's great-grandchildren, Idan, the younger brother of Asaf, of blessed memory. I looked at him and knew the roots of this home will never be uprooted. I looked at him and knew that Magda's hope that it will be good here will come to fruition. Yes, yes. Things will be good here. May the memory of our sisters and brothers, the victims of the Holocaust, be preserved and guarded in the heart of the people from generation to generation for all eternity.
הכניסיני תחת כנפך ויהי לי אם ואחות ויהי חיקך מקלט ראשי כאן תפילותיי הנידחות ויהי חיקך מקלט ראשי כאן תפילותיי הנידחות ובאין רחמים בין השמשות סחיב הגלח סודי סדורה אומרים יש בעולם נעורים היכן נעורה יש בעולם. מה זאת אהבה? הכניסיני תחת כנפך, ויהי לי אם ואחות, ויהי חיקך מקלט ראשי. כאן תפילותיי הנידחות.
דבר ראש הממשלה מר
Prime Minister Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, Honorable President of the state Isaac Herzog, my brothers and sisters, citizens of Israel, and above all today, the Holocaust survivors, the giants of spirit, we all embrace you with love. And this evening, we all salute the torchbearers of remembrance and heroism at Yad Vashem, the survivors, the victors of the Holocaust, who have lived to witness the rebirth of Israel and contributed to it. And in these days, they are witnessing something of immeasurable importance once again. During the Holocaust, the poet Uri Tzvi Greenberg wrote, "We were a people marked for extinction like a hunted animal." But in stark contrast, today, our nation fights back against its enemies. In the Holocaust, we were like a wounded animal crying out in anguish. Today, we have a state that's stronger than ever, that roars its power. In Operation Rising Lion, and even more so in Operation Roaring Lion, Israel stands with the United States at the forefront of the free world. Together, we have dealt a crushing blow to Iran's evil regime. The Ayatollah regime sought to develop nuclear weapons and produce tens of thousands of deadly ballistic missiles intended to annihilate us. It funded and armed its terrorist proxies, which sought to encircle us in a ring of fire. At the same time, it spread a fanatic ideology across all continents, defining the West as an existential threat. It believed it could do so with impunity, but no more. We've learned our lesson. Year after year, I have stood here and made a commitment at this Holocaust remembrance ceremony. We will not allow Iran to develop nuclear weapons. And as Prime Minister of Israel, I pledged there will be no second Holocaust. This year, we fulfilled that promise in practice. We delivered the most severe blow in that regime's history. Today, it is weaker than ever. Most of its military assets have been destroyed. Citizens of Israel, looking back at the Holocaust, a painful question arises in full force. What if? What if we had had a state back then? What if the nations of Europe had stopped the monstrous Nazism in time instead of appeasing it? What if the Allies had bombed the extermination camps? But, my friends, history has no what-ifs. The terrible disaster occurred. The nightmare became reality. The world was plunged into a war of destruction that claimed the lives of tens of millions of people, and of course, of 6 million of our own people. The same world which stood by in face of the persecution of the Jews came to understand that hatred of Jews, toxic anti-Semitism, undermines the very foundations of human society. In light of all this, we are acting so that future generations will not ask with regret, what if? The answers are already being given. For 2.5 years, we have been systematically breaking down the Iranian axis of evil in Rafah, in the Philadelphia corridor, in Gaza, in the pager operation, in the targeted elimination of ARC terrorists, deaths in War, Nasrallah, and others in Lebanon, and Syria, and Judea, and Samaria, and Yemen, and of course, in operations Rising Lion and Roaring Lion. Between those two powerful operations, I visited the United States several times and met with our great friend, President Trump. During one of these visits, my wife and I met Holocaust survivor Jack Wexel, who is 101 years old. Jack, born in Poland, survived the horrors of the Nazis as a young boy in camps and in forests. His parents and other relatives were brutally murdered. During our meeting at a synagogue in Miami, Florida, Jack stood wearing a yellow star pin on his lapel. Everyone present rose to their feet and applauded him. I said to Jack and to the members of the community, in the wake of the Holocaust, we promised never again. We made that promise and we are keeping it. We have changed the course of history. The sovereign state of Israel, the Israel Defense Forces, and Israel's security agencies, all of these reflect the restoration of control over our destiny after centuries of profound weakness. I added that the establishment of the state did not bring an end to aggression against us, nor to anti-Semitism, which is once again on the rise across the world. But unlike the past, those who seek to destroy us today bring upon themselves destruction on a scale they could never imagine. Indeed, we have destroyed large parts of the death industry that the regime in Iran had built over decades. Its nuclear facilities, missiles, UAVs, naval and air fleets, and vast weapon systems. Had we not acted, the names Natanz, Fordo, Isfahan, and Parchin might have become eternally infamous, just like Auschwitz, Treblinka, Majdanek, and Sobibor. But we did take action. Boy, did we take action through an unprecedented historic partnership with President Trump and the United States. On this year's Holocaust Remembrance Day, we remember that the state of Israel is at the height of its strength. Who could have imagined 80 years ago that our courageous Air Force pilots, together with USAF pilots, would operate wing to wing, defending the Middle East, defending Israel, and of course, defending the United States. And there is something more. We are also defending Europe, which has forgotten so much, so many things since the Holocaust. It has much to learn from us. Above all, the most essential lesson, the clear moral distinction between good and evil, which in moments of truth demands that we go to war for the sake of what's good, for the sake of life. Europe, which after World War II vowed to defend what is right, is today afflicted by deep moral weakness. It is losing control over its identity, its values, and its commitment to safeguard civilization from barbarism. But Israel does not forget this eternal commitment. Together with the United States and with other nations with whom we are forging alliances that will be spoken of, we defend ourselves. And in truth, we defend the entire world. Dear Holocaust survivors, citizens of Israel, there is no other people who could have achieved what we have achieved, to bring about the profound transformation from Holocaust to rebirth, a rebirth rich in accomplishments that astonishes the family of nations. The thriving state of Israel will continue to serve as a beacon of freedom, progress, and prosperity. The soldiers of Israel who stand steadfast in defense of the homeland will continue to inspire, as it is written in the book of Chronicles, men of might and men of war fit for the battle, that could handle shield and buckler, whose faces were like the faces of lions. As a nation of lions, we shall continue with God's help to roar our eternal roar. Am Israel Chai.
טקס הדלקת המשואות.
The lighting of the torches. Six torches will be lit in memory of the 6 million, our brothers and sisters who were murdered by the Nazi Germans and their accomplices, and in honor of the Holocaust survivors who reclaimed their lives and joined the national effort to build and establish the State of Israel and became key partners in the preservation of the memory of the Holocaust and its inculcation to future generations. The lighters of the 6 torches will be accompanied by their family members. The first torch will be lit by Sadia Bahat from Alytus, Lithuania.
28 בליטא, בעיר אליטוס. אבא שלי ייסד את המשטרה ופיקד עליה. אנחנו היינו משפחה מאוד מקובלת שם, גרנו ממש בגדדת. ב-1939 עברנו לווילנה. אחרי כמעט שנה נכנסו הגרמנים והתחילו כל מיני גזירות. ומאחר ואבא שלי נחטף והגיע בלילה חצי מת הביתה, אבא שלי כבר לא ירד לרחוב. לאמא היה מסוכן, אז אחותי ואני רצנו לחנויות בתור ללחם. בספטמבר 41 גירשו אותנו לגטו וילנה. כל כמה ימים היו אקציות. שלחו אנשים לפונר. אבא שלי עבד בתור מתורגמן אצל הגרמנים. כל מי שעבד אצל הגרמנים קיבל אישור עבודה. אז לא שלחו את המשפחה שלו. באחת האקציות האלה, מקום העבודה של אבא לא הספיק להדפיס את התעודות. לקחו אותנו לבית סוהר לוקישקי, ראינו את אבא שניסה לשחרר אותנו, והוא נפנף לנו ונתברר שזה היה הנפנוף האחרון, וחזרנו לגטו. הייתה אקציה שלקחו לאסטוניה לעבודה, ואמא נתן לי שקית עם פרוסת לחם, והתנפנפנו, וזו הייתה הפעם האחרונה. נודע לי שחיסלו את גטו וילנה, ואז אני החלטתי שאני בודד בעולם. פעם היחידה שהיה לי משבר, והייתי כמה ימים שהייתי פורץ בבכי, אבל אני הייתי משוכנע שאני נשאר בחיים. כעבור כמה ימים הגיעה קבוצה גדולה של יהודים, היה איתם דודי אברשה, לא ראיתי אותו כמה שנים, היה איחוד גדול. זו הרגשה גדולה מאוד למצוא שאתה לא לבד בעולם, וחזית התקרבה. ואז הגרמנים החליטו לקחת אותנו למערבה, היה לנו טיפוס. דודי כבר לא יכול כמעט ללכת. אני והחבר שלו הצלחנו לדחוף אותו ככה שהגרמנים לא יראו. אחרי כמה זמן מתחיל ירי היום, צרורות, אנחנו בטוחים שהורגים את כולם עד שבאילו חייל רוסי. ובזה ידענו שהמלחמה נגמרה. אמא נרצחה בפונר, ואחותי קפצה בלילה מהגדר וניצלה. בפברואר 46 הגעתי ארצה, באתי לעליית הנוער ונולדתי מחדש. אני בכיתה ג' כתבתי שכשנהיה גדול אני רוצה להיות מהנדס, לנסוע לפלסטינה ולבנות את המולדת. אז עבדתי ברפאל 37 שנים ויצא לי לעבוד לכל חילות צה"ל. הפרויקט הגדול שלי זיכה אותי בפרס ביטחון ישראל. אני מאוד מאוד מכריז על עצמי כעשיר, יש לי 3 ילדים, 8 נכדים ויש לי כבר 6 נינים. אנחנו חמולה מאוד קרובה.
Let the torch be lit.
משמר יעבור לנוח, עוד נוח.
משואה שנייה.
The second torch will be lit by Mikhail Sidko from Kiev, Ukraine.
Родился в городе Киеве в 1936 году. Отец настоящий украинец, мама настоящая еврейка. Дедушка был раб. Все праздники, еврейские, христианские, по любому случаю отмечались. Был один сводный брат, Риша, сестричка Клара, 3,5 года, братик Володя, ему было 6 месяцев. 22 июня ровно в 4 часа Киев бомбили. Мы должны были эвакуироваться из-за того, что отец работал на военном заводе. Отец руководил отгрузкой военного поезда. Мама собирала нас к отцу на поезд. Там Гриша помнила, что он забыл выпустить голубей из будки. Маму просила, она не отпустила. Он убежал. А мама нас собрала, выбросила, короче, из вагона. Поезд ушел с отцом по Москве. 19 августа немцы вышли в Киев и дали приказ по городу, чтобы все евреи явились в район Бабьего Яра 28 сентября. Это часа в 3 или 4 ночи. Заходит один немец и 2 полицая. Так, собирайтесь, поехали. Со всех улиц, со всех сторон заявили в Бабий Яр. Мама попала с детьми в женскую колонну. Мы с Гришей остались вдвоем в компании отобранных пацанов. Все, что происходило в Бабьем Яре относительно моей семьи, я помню досконально. Помню, как убили детей, помню, как маму убили. Немцам нужно было команду для медицинских испытаний. А нас, отобранных, поселили в этот дом. Гриша каким-то образом ему удалось убежать. Над нами, детьми, проводились медицинские опыты. Гриша занимался мной полностью. Он был всем. И братом, и папой, и мамой, всем. И вот мы убежали в Киев, на свою старую квартиру. Мы жили в подвале. Было холодно. И нашли буржуйку. А на 4-м этаже жила преподаватель Софья Кондратьевна, дочкой Галей. Пошли искать откуда дым. И пришли к нам в квартиру. У нас тепленько. Когда только приходили полицаи на обыск, рискуя жизнями, Галя говорила всем, что мы ее братья, а Софья Кондратьевна, что мы ее мама. О том, что отец жив, мы не знали. Он не знал, что мы есть. И в конце 1944 года он вернулся. Мы репатриировались в Израиль в 2000 году. У меня 2 детей, 4 внуков, 6 правнуков. Галя и Софья Кондратьевна – это моя семья.
Let the torch be lit.
יעבור לדום, משמר, דום. משמר יעבור לנוח. עמוד.
משואה שלישית.
The third torch will be lit by Miriam Daisy Barlev, born Van Cleef from Tel Aviv, Eretz Israel.
נולדתי ב-1936 באסותא תל אביב. אבא שלי מהולנד, אמא שלי מגרמניה. כשהתחילו מאורעות עם הערבים, הם החליטו לחזור להולנד. היו לנו חיים טובים 6 שנים הראשונות לפני המלחמה שמה. בגיל 6 קיבלתי טלאי צהוב, הייתי בגן, הייתי מאוד גאה. פעם אחת יצאתי מהגן בלי רשות של אמא שלי, וראיתי אוטו מסע שמעלים שם אנשים, ואז אני די פחדתי והסתרתי את המגן דוד. ואחר כך לקחו אותנו למחנה וסטרבורג, והיה לי סבא, הוא נשלח לסביבור, הוא לא חזר. בווסטרבורג היינו חצי שנה. אמרו לנו שאנחנו הולכים למחנה יותר טוב, ולקחו אותנו לברגן בלזן. דרך החלון אנחנו ראינו את האסירים שהם נפלו מתים. זה היה נורא. אמא שלי תמיד הסיטה לי את הראש, אמרה לי, אל תסתכלי. אמא שלי עבדה בפירוק נעליים, ואבא שלי עבד בצינורות ביוב. היו לו 2 מחברות. מתוך רעב הוא כתב את הרצפטים שהוא זוכר. אבא שלי חלה בטיפוס הבערות, והכניסו אותו לצריף של חולים. היה לי דובי מאוד אהבתי אותו, והלכתי למכור את הדובי אצל היוגוסלבים בשביל כוס אורז. אמא שלי בישלה אותו, ואני עברתי מתחת לגדר ונתתי לאבא שלי. אבא שלי נפטר, היינו מאוד מאוד עצובות. יום אחד לקחו את ההולנדים, הלכנו כמה קילומטרים עם כלבים בצד שהפחידו אותנו עד שהגענו לרכבת. 14 יום נסענו הלוך וחזור באיזה תחנת רכבת. אמרתי שמצאתי תפוח, נתתי לאמא שלי, וזו הייתה קליפה של תפוח, רק הטעם. בסוף יום אחד הצילו אותנו הרוסים. חזרנו לאמסטרדם, הכניסו אותנו שם לאיזה בית עולים בחג פורים. אני זוכרת שהתחפשתי למדינת ישראל עם דגלים. אמא התחתנה עוד פעם עם בן אדם נהדר. הוא גם איבד את אשתו ואת הבת שלו בשואה. הוא אימץ אותי, הוא היה כל כך טוב אליי. ופתאום נולדה לי אחות קטנה ממני ב-15 שנה. הייתי ממש מאושרת, ממש, והיא אחות נהדרת. עבדתי כל החיים בתור אחות, עד שיצאתי לפנסיה. הקמתי משפחה, יש לי 3 בנים, 7 נכדים, יש לי אחיינים, יש לי משפחה גדולה. המשפחה עושה לי טוב ושמחה בלב.
תעלה
Let the torch be lit.
משמר יעבור לדום. משמר, דום. משמר יעבור לנוח. עמוד, נוח.
משואה רביעית יעלה משה.
The fourth torch will be lit by Moshe Harari, Paprotnia, Poland.
ב2 לנובמבר 1934 בכפר פפרוטניה בפולין. היינו משפחה יהודית יחידה בכפר. ב-41 התחילו לאסוף את כל המשפחות היהודיות באזור. ריכזו אותם בגטו מורדי. אבא שלי היה נעלם מדי פעם מחוץ לגטו כי עבד אצל האיכרים תמורת אוכל. כמובן שהיה מביא את זה למשפחה. עד לרגע הנורא של ריכוז כל היהודים בכיכר העיירה הזו. אמא שלי הכירה את אחד המעברים מהגטו לכיוון היערות. ברגע האחרון ממש אני ואחותי ואמא ברחנו מהגטו. אבא שלי הצליח לברוח מיציאה סמויה אחרת. הסתובבנו ביערות קרוב לחצי שנה. והגענו אז לעיקר, לפינסקי, בכפר ווזיק. אבא שלי הצליח שנמצא מקום מסתור באסם שלו. ירדנו מתחת לרצפה של האסם לתוך בור. היינו באיום של מוות בכל רגע נתון, החיים מתנהלים בשכיבה. הדיבור היה בלחש. היינו בבור הזה 1.5 שנה עד שהצבא הרוסי הגיע. תפסנו טרמפ על משאית רוסית והגענו לבית שלנו, תפוס על ידי משפחה פולנית שם. אבל בכל אופן פינו לנו חדר אחד. יום אחד אבא שלי נעלם ולא חזר. ואחת הטראומות הכי גדולות שפתאום נשארתי ילד בלי אבא והרגשתי שהעול של המשפחה נופל עליי. היו כנופיות שאחרי המלחמה קמו לרצוח יהודים, ואחד ערבים הם פרצו לבית, זרקו 2 רימונים, ואמא שלי הייתה פצועה קשה, עם תלבושות על הראש. עברנו לכפר אחר ומצאנו מחסה שגרו שם יהודים ואחד ערבים. שמענו פתאום יריות, זינקתי דרך החריץ הזה לתוך המרתף, משכתי את אחותי, ואמא שלי בגלל כל התחבושות הראש לא עבר. אני לא יודע איך, אבל הצלחנו למשוך אותה. עד היום אני נזכר בזה, ויש לי באמת דפיקות לב. התברר שאנחנו היחידים שנשארנו בחיים. אמא חיפשה קרובי משפחה שניצלו, כי פשוט היא רצתה להאחז במשהו, וגילתה שאחותה והבת שלה הגיעו לשצ'צ'ין. הייתה התרגשות גדולה שפגשנו אותם, שיש משפחה מורחבת. זה היה מאוד חשוב כדי לחזור חזרה לחיים נורמליים. מעבר לזה לא היה לנו שום קרובי משפחה, כולם הושמדו. אני נהפכתי לציוני. באנו לארץ, הקמתי משפחה, יש לי נכדים, נינים, משפחה מלוכדת ששומרת על קשרים יומיים. עבדתי בתעשייה הצבאית ובניתי המון דברים, קיבלתי המון פרסים, אבל כשקיבלתי את פרס קפלן בגיל 23 ולקחתי את אמא שלי לחלוקת הפרס, היא הייתה הכי מאושרת שבעולם ואני הצלחתי לגרום לזה. אלה רגעים שלא שוכחים.
תעלה
Let the torch be lit.
משמר יעבור לדום. משמר, דום. המשמר יעבור לנוח. עמוד, נוח.
משואה חמישית תעלה
The fifth torch will be lit by Ilana Palach, born Saadon from Benghazi, Libya.
בנגזי ב-1937. היינו 5 ילדים, 4 בנות ובן. אנחנו היינו מסורתיים, הייתה משפחה מורחבת, והיינו מאוד מאוד מחוברים, כולם ביחד. עד המלחמה. אבא שלי ואח של אמא ברחו למצרים כי הייתה להם נתינות בריטית. מי שהיו תופסים אותו עם נתינות בריטית היו עוצרים אותו. יש כאלה שהלכו לבלגל-בנזן. יום אחד הגיעו משאיות והעלו את כל היהודים. אמא היה לה כוסות מארץ ישראל, עליהם מגן דוד, שומרת אותם רק לפסח. והיא אמרה לנו, תראו אתם מגן דוד הזה, תזכרו שאתם יהודים. עלינו כמו בהמות. נסענו במדבר, בלי מים, בלי אוכל. בלילה היה קר והיום היה חם. אחותי יולנדה נפטרה בדרך. אני יודעת שאמא שלי מאוד כאבה לה כל החיים. הגענו לג'אדו, מחנה צבאי נטוש, זוועה. קינים היו גדולים כאלה, והרבה קיבלו טיפוס. אחותי אלגרה נפטרה מטיפוס. יש עצב, יש בכי, אבא איננו, אין הרבה אוכל. אמא, היא הייתה מקבלת לחם אפילו אם מעובש, הייתה מחלקת בינינו, הייתה אומרת, אני אכלתי. אחותי היה לה שערות ארוכות, איריס זה יותר הגדולה. תפס אותה ככה, לקח סכין, חותך לה ככה והיא בוכה. ואני בתור ילדה, בת 5.5, למה אתה עושה לה את זה? כאילו התחלתי לבכות, והוא דרך לי על הרגל, נשבר לי בעצם. פתלתי מכאבים, אמא ראתה מרחוק, באה הרימה אותי, לקחה אותי לחדר, כי פחדה שהיא להיכנס לבית חולים. מי שנכנס לבית חולים מת. אחרי שבועיים באו הבריטים ושחררו אותנו. אנחנו חוזרים לבנגזי, אבא חזר ממצרים, הייתי בבית חולים, זה לקח הרבה זמן עד שהרגל היא בריאה. זה עשה לי ילדות עגומה, ואמא ישבה על ידי 0.5 שנה ראשונה. לא אשכח לידי, אני מאוד אהבתי אותה. כמה פעמים היה פוגרומים. הכניסו אותנו הילדים בחדר ואנחנו שומעים, אטבח ליהוד, אחרק ליהוד. אחרי הרבה מקרים כאלה, נסענו לטריפולי. ב-48 היינו בטריפולי, בהכרזת המדינה. הייתה שמחה גדולה. אנחנו באנו פה, היינו בלי כלום, אבל שמחת חיים היה. תודה לאל, אלוהים נתן לי את הבינה, לראות את הכוס המלאה. אני עוד מעט בת 90. הקמתי משפחה נפלאה, גדולה. יש לי נכדים, אחד. כל פעם שאנחנו ביחד, אני אומרת, רק תשמרו על המדינה, כי אנשים לא יודעים מה זה שהיינו בלי מדינה.
Let the torch be lit.
משמר יעבור לדום. משמר, דום. משמר יעבור לנוח. עמוד, נוח.
The sixth torch will be lit by Avigdor Neumann, Salish, Czechoslovakia.
נולדתי ב-1931 בעיירה סייליש, היינו 7 ילדים, בית מאוד עשיר, מאוד חסידי. אבא בכלל היה ידוע כבעל צדקה גדול. ב-1944 נכנסו הגרמנים. בלילה האחרון של פסח דופקים בדלת, חזק באה המשטרה לעזור מהר, כולם לצאת החוצה. את האבא לקחו לחוד למרתף עינויים, את האמא והילדים לקחו לגטו בסייליש. כעבור כמה שבועות התקבלה הוראה להתייצב במקום הריכוז. שחררו את אבא, פתאום בלי זקן וסימני העינויים של כמה שבועות נראו עליו, היה שבור לגמרי. אמא נתנה תפקיד לכל ילד, ואני הייתי צריך לשמור, היה לי סל כזה של אוכל, ופתאום שוטר מרביץ לאמא. מהבעלה שמעתי את האוכל ולא לקחתי אותו איתי. זה רדף אותי שנים, שבגללי היה חסר בדרך ברכבת. מגיעים לתחנת הרכבת, קרונות של בהמות, 80-100 איש בקרון. מגיעים לבירקנו. הם אמרו שאנשים והילדים ילכו מפה לקמפ. היו שם יהודים אסירים ותיקים. אחד סחב אותי מהאמא, שם אותי ליד הגברים. אבא והאח הגדול עמדו פה כבר בשורה. כמה ימים עוד היינו יחד, אבא והאח הגדול, ואחר כך לקחו אותם. עד שאתה מתרגל שיש לך רק אבא ואח. פתאום גם זה לא. כל הזמן אתה מקובץ ממכות, לחם, יירו בך, יכו אותך. אתה בכלל לא חי את הטרגדיה של המשפחה, אתה נלחם איך להישאר בחיים. כל הזמן התקווה ואמונה, ישועת השם כהרף עין. ביד המחנה שלנו, ביד מחנה נשים. יום אחד ראיתי את אחותי הגדולה שם. גם היה קשה לזהות, כי הייתה נערה יפה, פתאום בלי שערות, בגדים של אושוויץ ככה. היא אומרת שהמפגש הכי מטלטל, הכי מזעזע היה, שאמרתי לה, את יודעת, היום אני בן 13, זה הבר מצווה שלי. אני שרדתי 3 סלקציות, ואחר כך 2 צעדות מוות. בשלב מסוים הגרמנים ברחו, בא הצבא האמריקאי לשחרר אותנו. אני ילד בן 14, מה אני עושה? לאן אני הולך? איך אני אחיה? עם מי אני אחיה? אז אני מתחיל להבין את גודל האסון. הרי לפני זה בכלל לא התאבלת על המשפחה. ואמרתי, טוב, אני אחזור לסיילש. אני מגיע לשם, אני רואה את אחותי. מרגע זה היא הכל בשבילי. אבא, אמא, אחות, הכל. היא אומרת לי, אביגדור, אנחנו ניסע לארץ. כשאני לבשתי פעם ראשונה את המדים של צה"ל, אי אפשר להסביר את זה. אני חייל בצבא שלי. זה היה איזה התעלות נפש. השתתפתי בכל מלחמות ישראל, והקמתי משפחה לתפארת. יש לי 2 ילדים, 7 נכדים, בוא נאמר יותר מ-44 נינים, כימש אחד. אני משתתף גם בפרויקט של שורדי נובה, לעודד אותם, לשמע אותם, הם שומעים אותי, ואני אומר לכולם, לא לתת לדיכאון, לעצב להשתלט עליך. תסתכלו עליי, אפשר לקום מעפר, לחיות חיים נורמליים עם הזיכרון.
תעלה המשואה.
Let the torch be lit.
נשמע אדום. משמר יעבור לנוח. עמוד, נוח.
The survivor's address will be delivered by Ms. Chaviva Borscht, born Hochlerer. Until the Nazi German invasion of Poland, Chaviva lived a peaceful life among her tight-knit and loving extended family. With the outbreak of the war, she was torn from her family, and thanks to her resourcefulness and courage, she survived on her own. At the end of the war, after a harrowing journey through Europe and a detention camp in Cyprus, she arrived in the land of Israel. Chaviva finished her studies, enlisted to the IDF, and got married. Together with her husband, who was also a Holocaust survivor, Ari of blessed memory, she was privileged to build a large and thriving family. I do not remember my parents' faces. I remember my mother moving from room to room, her hair neatly gathered, so beautiful. I remember how before Shabbat she would give me a plate of food and ask me to take it to a lonely neighbor. I remember my father's love for me, his eldest daughter, and the joy I felt when he returned home from work. I remember our small house in a little town in Poland with a vegetable garden beside it and a small park on the corner where we played jacks and hopscotch. I remember what it felt like to be part of a large, happy family. But the faces of my parents and my siblings remain in my memory only as silhouettes. I was born in 1930 to a traditional family in Wyszlewice, a small town near Chelm. My father, Shabtai Shapsel Hochlerer, was a merchant. My mother, Sarah, raised us at home. I was the eldest, followed by 3 younger brothers. I had a happy childhood until the war broke out. At first, there was this tense quiet, but with the arrival of the Germans, things took a turn for the worse. Men were seized for forced labor. My father was taken as well, and a month later he returned pale and weakened. My beloved grandfather, on whose knees I would sit for hours, playing with his beard and braiding it, was stopped in the street and had half his beard cut off. I remember the pain I felt when he came home, his eyes lowered. My father understood how dangerous the situation was and found a hiding place for my mother and brothers in another village. Before they left, my mother said goodbye and promised we would meet again soon. But they never reached their destination. Later, we learned they had been murdered while they were on their way to the village. I stayed with my father. He found a hiding place for us with an acquaintance in a nearby village. For years, I wondered why he chose to keep me with him. Only later did I understand he wanted me to be his voice. My Polish was better than his, and my appearance did not reveal that I was Jewish. We hid together in a pit in the forest, lying side by side in the rain on the wet, muddy earth. For many long months, we could barely move. We shared what little food we had. We did not change our clothes. We were surrounded by thorny bushes, so every move we made caused pain. Whenever I could, I would leave the pit and gather flowers. My father promised me again and again that we would find my mother and brothers, and that together we would make Aliyah. When the snow began to fall, he moved me to a hiding place in the home of a Polish peasant woman and joined the partisans. On one of his visits, I clung to him and begged him not to go, not to leave me alone. I ran after him, crying. He stopped me and explained that I had to stay. He said, "By day you will be Polish and eat what is forbidden. By night, remember that you're a Jew." He embraced me and left. My father did not return. After some time, when the money he had left ran out, the woman told me to leave. And so I was all alone in the world. For 3 years, I wandered from village to village, knocking on doors and asking for work. At night, I would sleep in stables and cowsheds, surrounded by mice and rats. I wrapped my wounded feet with scraps of sackcloth. Whenever I sensed danger, I disappeared. I trusted no one. One day, I felt someone following me. I kept walking without turning back. He caught up with me and asked a lot of questions. Finally, in despair, I turned to him and said, "I am a Jew. Do whatever you want." I thought that would be the end of me, but to my surprise, he took me with him. His wife washed me, undid the braids my father had made, combed my dirty hair, and sewed me clothes from rags. They were very poor, with a small daughter of their own, and yet they took me in as if I were their child. Later, I learned that he was one of the leaders of a Polish underground movement resisting the German occupation, and that both of them had risked their lives by taking me in. I stayed with them until the end of the war. In 1947, I made Aliyah on an illegal ship. I volunteered to the Nachal Brigade and was among the founders of Kibbutz Tzelim in the Negev. I married Aryeh, a Holocaust survivor from Lithuania, a handsome man with kind blue eyes, the love of my life. We shared 72 years together. We built a large family. We have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and to this day I maintain a warm connection with my rescuer's family. Nothing remains of my parents and brothers, not even a photograph. I would give so much to see their faces clearly once more. For many years, I still waited for a letter, a sign of life, but it never arrived. Out of this immense loss, I learned how essential family is. The foundation of life, the ability to take root and grow in the soil of our homeland, even after devastation. We must do everything to protect this country that we built with our own hands for our children, for our grandchildren, and for generations to come. For this is our homeland. We have no other.
כביש ישר, שביל בגן, עץ ובית. אבא כאן, אמא שם, כאן נשארתי. מה שהייתי פעם, מזמן. מה שעכשיו, ילדות נשכחת. כאן, אמא שם, כאן נשארתי, מה שהייתי פעם מזמן. מה עוד מביא אותי תמיד אל אותה ילדות נשכחת.
עם פלישת הגרמנים לפולין,
With the German invasion to Poland, Yoshua Tsipris was drafted into the Polish army in Warsaw. His young wife, Ruth Tsipris, remained behind. She was at the beginning of her first pregnancy. In March 1940, Ruth gave birth to her daughter, Eva, and together they were sent to the Warsaw Ghetto. When rumors spread about the fate of the Jews in Treblinka camp, Ruth managed through great effort to obtain a small saw, which she hid in her shoe. In her heart, she made a decision. If she were deported, she would escape and save her daughter at any cost. In January 1943, the day of Ruth and Eva's deportation arrived. After we were loaded into the train cars, the heavy door slammed shut, and we heard faint, measured knocking. 1, 2, 1, 2. They're locking the car with a bolt, someone explained. This is the end. The hammering stopped. Our box of death was ready. The windows were so high that even when I stood up, I couldn't see out. At that moment, I saw a Polish railway worker. "Sir, where are they taking us?" I asked. He didn't answer. "Are we going to Treblinka?" "Yes. Your train will be moving shortly." So I knew everything, that we were bound for Treblinka, that we were going there today, and that trying to escape from the station made no sense. My little one behaved with such courage. Despite the bitter cold, she did not complain. Gunshots rang out almost without pause. I must act, I thought. I didn't know anyone in the car. I knew I couldn't do anything alone. I couldn't even reach the height of the windows. I found two brave young men and shared my plan with them. When I pulled a thin little saw from my high boot, they looked at me with a mixture of shock and amazement, but agreed at once. When I began, it was completely silent. I started sawing. It was hard work. My fingers began to bleed. I paid no attention to the pain. My hands grew very tired. At last, I finished placing the cut bar back so that nothing could be seen from the outside. I knew I wouldn't be able to throw my child out myself, that she would resist, that she would surely cry, that force would be needed. I was also afraid that after throwing her, I might not have the courage to jump at the last moment. And then what? No, it had to be me who jumped first, and only then the child. But who would throw the child once I was gone? Mama, please don't jump. I'll always be good. I'll do whatever you say. Mama, please don't jump and don't leave me alone. Little Eva pleaded, clinging to my coat and kissing my hands. I covered my ears with my hands. I stood on my companion's shoulders, braced myself against the lower edge of the window, and pushed my legs forward. I heard a whistle, and the wind swept me away. I lost consciousness. I don't remember the moment of the fall. I do not know when I got up or how long I lay on the ground. I came back to my senses as I was walking along the edge of a forest through deep, soft snow. I tried to remember how I had reached the forest alone in the night, but in vain. My bones ached. I don't know how long I wandered until suddenly I longed to rest, to lie down. I was so exhausted. My precious little saw fell into the snow. Only then did I remember everything: the train, the terrible journey, the escape, and the child. The child. Where's my child? Like a mad woman, I began to run towards the tracks. I no longer felt the fatigue, my bones no longer ached, the cold no longer bothered me, driven by some inner force. Faster, faster, just not to be too late. I ran along the railway tracks, heedless of any danger. At last, I saw the trackman's hut. In front of it stood a man holding my little girl in his arms. She clung to him, her arms wrapped tightly around his neck. "Ivania," I cried, tears in my eyes. The child did not recognize me. Her golden head was covered in blood. I picked her up. I thanked the good man with all my heart and hurried away as fast as I could. I didn't know where to go, but kept moving, trying to get as far away as possible. Again, I walked through the snow without direction. When my legs could no longer carry me, I saw a fenced house. Without thinking, I lifted little Eva over the fence into the snow. I crawled with her into a doghouse. The dog was not there. For me, the doghouse was a paradise. At last, I could lie beside my child. Only then did I begin to speak to her, but she did not answer. She lay there, her eyes closed, the wound on her head still bleeding. I had nothing to bandage it with. For the first time in my life, I felt so poor. I didn't even have a handkerchief. In the kennel, I behaved like a mother dog with her puppy. I kept forcing myself to wake the child up, afraid she would freeze in her sleep. I so wanted to sleep. I warmed her with my own body, rubbed her face against mine. And why did she say nothing except her name? The stars were already beginning to fade. Dawn would soon break. And where would I go? Where could I turn to? What was I to do next? Ruth and her daughter Eva returned to Warsaw. Ruth assumed a false identity and entrusted her daughter to the care of a non-Jewish acquaintance. Near the end of the war, Ruth was reunited with Eva, and together they lived to see the day of liberation. Verses from the book of Psalms will now be recited by the chief rabbi of Israel, Rabbi Kalman Meir Ber. A psalm, a song for Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are a confederate against thee, the barnacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gebel and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as to the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as to the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. The Kaddish prayer will be recited by the chief rabbi of Israel, the Rishon LeZion, Rabbi David Yosef. Exalted and hallowed be his great name throughout the world which he has created according to his will. May he establish his kingship, bring forth his redemption, and hasten the coming of his Messiah. In your lifetime and in your days and in the lifetime of the entire house of Israel, speedily and soon, and say Amen. May his great name be blessed forever and to all eternity. Blessed and praised, glorified, exalted and extolled, honored, adored, and lauded be the name of the Holy One. Blessed be he. Beyond all the blessings, hymns, praises, and consolations that are uttered in the world, and say Amen. My abundant peace be granted from heaven, and life, fullness, salvation, and consolation, deliverance, healing, redemption, redemption, forgiveness, and atonement, relief and rescue for us and for all the people of Israel, and say Amen. He who makes peace in his heavens, may he make peace for us and for all Israel, and say Amen.
המשמר יעבור לנוח. עמוד נוח.
אל מלא רחמים.
The El Maleh Rachamim prayer recited by Holocaust survivor retired Judge Menachem Nehman, a native of Romania. In 1941, he was deported with his family to the Shargorod ghetto in Transnistria. His father was sent to forced labor. For 3 years, the family endured overcrowding, cold, hunger, and disease. In 1944, Menachem and his family were liberated by the Red Army and returned to their home. In 1949, the family made Aliyah. Menachem completed his studies, enlisted into the IDF, and at the same time studied for his law degree. In later years, he was appointed a judge and served as deputy president of the Haifa District Court. He also served as chair of the Appointments Committee of the Company for Location and Restitution of Holocaust Victims' Assets. Menachem and his wife have 4 children, as well as many grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
המשמר יחטיף את נשקו. אחטף, שק.
O God, full of mercy, who dwells on high, judges of widows, and father of orphans. Grant proper rest beneath the wings of the divine presence, among the holy and the pure, who shine and radiate like the brightness of the firmament. To the souls of the 6 million, our brothers and sisters, the multitudes upon multitudes of the house of Israel, men, women, and children who were killed, suffocated, burned, buried alive, and put to death in every cruel and horrific way at the hands of the German Nazis and their collaborators, and who went to their eternal rest, sanctifying the name of God. May their resting place be in the Garden of Eden. Therefore, may the Master of Mercy shelter them forever beneath his wings and bind their souls in the bond of life. The Lord is their inheritance. May they rest in peace upon the resting place. And let us say, Amen.
התקווה.
Hatikva, the national anthem.
דגל, צ'ק.
כל עוד בלבב בנימה נפש יהודי הומייה ולפתי מזרח קדימה עין לציון צופיה עוד לא אבדה תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים.
המשמר יחטיף את נשקו. אכתב, צ'ק. המשמר יציג את נשקו. הצג, צ'ק. המשמר יעבור לנוח, עמוד, נוח.
The ceremony has now come to a close.